Avengers approach my kingdom, the soldier is with them.
Many people were hoping Sony's Morbius would be a bloody, fun superhero vampire movie, but it didn't quite hit the mark. It was pretty tame and didn't have the spooky vibe to satisfy most fans. Now, everyone's pinning their hopes on Marvel Studios' Blade reboot to deliver. Horror fans are still craving better vampire films, but Marvel might redeem itself not with Blade, but with a Dracula movie. This one could really be a story to sink your teeth into, especially after how Dracula shows why Dr. Doom feels like an outdated villain. Marvel Comics' version of Dracula was introduced by Gerry Conway and Colan, making his debut in the Tomb of Dracula #1 back in April 1972, with co-writing from Marv Wolfman. At first, the Tomb of Dracula stayed separate from the rest of Marvel's universe. Marv Wolfman explained that he saw the horror books as their own thing, saying, "Creating mood, tension, and suspense in a comic is hard enough without throwing superheroes or supervillains into the mix. However, the idea of a crossover to boost sales was too tempting to pass up, leading to Dracula's appearance in giant-size Spider-Man #1 in July 1974. Marvel also adapted the original Dracula novel, which was featured in Marvel Classic Comics #9 in 1977. Dracula, along with all vampires, was eventually wiped out using the mystical Montesi formula in Doctor Strange. However, the vampire lord didn't stay gone for long. In 1991, Marvel brought him back in a 4-issue Tomb of Dracula miniseries under its Epic Comics imprint, reuniting Marv Wolfman and Colan. During the 1990s, Dracula and his foes also appeared in short-lived series like Night Stalkers and Blade. He later took center stage in the miniseries Dracula Lord of the Undead. One standout storyline saw him clashing with the X-Men's villain Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse vs. Dracula, set in Victorian London. Dracula made a big comeback in the Captain Britain and MI-13 storyline Vampire State, teaming up with Dr. Doom. In the 21st century, he built an army of vampires in a moon sanctuary, plotting to conquer the United Kingdom with supernatural allies like Lilith, not his daughter, Captain Fate, and Baron Blood. Before making his move, he struck a non-aggression pact with Dr. Doom and the Cabal to ensure they wouldn't interfere. With that secured, he launched a bold attack on MI-13's superheroes, literally sending specially bred vampires to Earth as missiles. Dracula's sinister plans also revealed his prejudice against Muslims, as he intended to wipe them out after securing control of Great Britain. As part of his attack, he targeted Faiza Hussein's family, assaulting her mother and taking her father hostage, along with MI-13 agent Killpower, who was protecting them. Meanwhile, British vampire hero Spitfire was captured and forcibly turned into one of Dracula's minions. Dracula manipulated MI-13 into revealing the location of Quincy Harker's remains, which were magically treated to stop vampires from entering the UK uninvited. Once he destroyed them, he launched a fleet of warships toward Earth with Captain Fate's assistance. Dracula's plans were unknowingly sabotaged by Pete Wisdom, who tricked him into destroying fake remains, while Spitfire secretly resisted mind control and fed intel to MI-13. To keep Dracula from discovering the truth, he was trapped in a demonic dream corridor, where he experienced an illusion of his ultimate victory. Once he escaped, MI-13 launched a series of distractions to delay him until his warships entered British airspace uninvited, resulting in the destruction of most of his forces. In the climactic battle, Dracula retreated to his fortress, but was cornered by the Black Knight and Faiza Hussein, who wielded the legendary sword Excalibur. Though he managed to seriously injure the Black Knight, Faiza struck him down with a single blow from Excalibur, bringing the conflict to a victorious end for Britain. Now, Dracula's story didn't end there. He's been back for plenty more adventures. Most recently, he returned in Blade Vampire Nation #1, where he highlights why a character like Dr. Doom feels outdated as a villain. In the comic, Dracula finally achieves what few villains ever do, running his own country. He spent years plotting to claim the exclusion zone around the Chernobyl nuclear disaster as his vampire nation. While most vampires live deep within the irradiated zone, The outskirts, with lower radiation levels, have become home to a strange coexistence of vampires and humans. The vampire community is split on Dracula's vision, with mixed reactions to this bold new world he's creating in the Marvel Universe. Not everyone is thrilled with Dracula's new vampire nation, as shown in Blade Vampire Nation #1 by Mark Russell and Dave Wachter. The story kicks off with an assassination attempt on Dracula. However, the target turns out to be a decoy. Another high-ranking vampire official is killed instead. Blade, acting as the sheriff of the Vampire Nation at the request of the United Nations, is put in charge of investigating the crime. When Blade suggests rounding up suspects and executing them to send a message, Dracula refuses. He explains that his goal is to create a country where people genuinely want to live. For that, he needs to uphold principles like due process and freedom, avoiding baseless arrests and unchecked authority. Dracula is undeniably a villain in the Marvel Universe and in fiction as a whole. Given that he went through the trouble of founding his own country, it's easy to assume he would rule with brutal dictatorial methods. But his decision to have Blade investigate the assassination attempt with discretion shows a surprisingly progressive side to his leadership. While Dracula makes it clear that those responsible will be executed, he insists on gathering solid evidence before making any accusations, something that many dictators would overlook. This careful approach to justice stands in contrast to the typical ruthless tactics of other authoritarian rulers. Dr. Doom is arguably the most iconic dictator in the Marvel Universe, ruling Latveria with an iron fist. He crushes dissent and maintains strict control over his country, including stifling any free press. One might expect Dracula to follow a similar path, but he takes a different, more nuanced approach. Dracula is careful and strategic in how he governs, likely aware that his actions are under intense scrutiny. Unlike Dr. Doom, who operates without concern for public perception, Dracula understands the importance of managing his image and creating a country that people might actually want to live in. The MCU is definitely bringing Dr. Doom as the villain in Avengers Doomsday. They just announced that RDJ is returning, but this time as Dr. Doom, so it's bound to be amazing. Marvel doesn't usually make their villains just crazy for the sake of it, so Doom will definitely have a solid motive and moral reasoning. Personally, I'd love to see him in a more grounded storyline, but it seems like he's being rushed into a multiversal plot. However, we still have Dracula, and Marvel could easily create a supernatural but more grounded story around him. As for the cast, I think Keanu Reeves would be an amazing choice to play Dracula. He's a fantastic actor, and his experience with supernatural roles, especially as John Constantine in 2005's Constantine, makes him a perfect fit. Plus, he's already been a part of two huge franchises, The Matrix and John Wick, so he has the experience and fan base to lead his own movie. He's also one of the few actors I really like and would love to see in the MCU. Another great option could be Tom Ellis, the actor who played Lucifer Morningstar in the Lucifer series. His portrayal of the charming, devilish character shows he has the charisma to bring Dracula to life. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to click the thumbs up if you like our video. Share this video with your family and friends, and subscribe for more updates on this and other exciting upcoming movies. We'll see you next time.